Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Just a little reminder, today's the day. Linda Jones is going to be talking about Ripple and all things linked to today, 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can go and register for this. Link2 is conducting this webinar, and that's at 1 o'clock. So go check it out. They are my sponsor, by the way. Crypto Bull XRP setting up for a huge bull run. I love the look of that chart. I don't know anything about that chart other than I do know what it was like back then, and I do know what that was like, and I do know how long that XRP has been intentionally and with everything that they have held back. Not with what Ripple has, but with everything that all the bad guys, the government, this has been, if that none of this had been done, SEC and all the bad guys and all the media, if none of this had been done, this never would have stopped right here, because the market knew, the market knows. eGrag Crypto knows. VRA Pandora's box to all-time high. The VRA chart's potential is captivating. My targets are crystal clear. 1, hitting an all-time high. 2, reaching between 30 and 50 cents. 3, surging to fib 1.618 at 88 cents, which is 10 times leap from all-time high. I don't know what I just read, folks. I'm trying to figure that out. Let's see what he's talking about. Man, there's a lot going on right there. I don't even understand that. But that's part of it. That's why I show you the things. Some of you that follow this kind of stuff, maybe you get it, but there's way too much going on there for me. I need a much more simple chart. Okay, BlackRock has filed the S1 prospectus for its spot Ethereum ETF with the SEC. Let me give you a little theory here, folks. Do you think it's a coincidence that Steven Narioff pops up on the scene and starts to talk about all of the things he's about to unveil about Ethereum? It almost feels like BlackRock is rushing to get this Ethereum thing out so that they can say, "Oh, we've got an ETF. The ship's already sailed on that." From a regulatory perspective, because apparently we're under a 48-hour countdown on Steven Narioff blowing the lid off of this thing, the Ethereum thing. Hey BlackRock, why aren't you filing an S1 application for a spot XRP ETF? It's the only digital asset with legal clarity. That is the fact, Jack. And that's a great question for BlackRock. And everybody should continue to ask it. Now, Stuart Alderoty's been on the warpath, and I don't think that he could have picked a better character to compare Gary Gensler to. He says the SEC is losing in court, being criticized by judges for shady behavior, being rebuked by the government's internal auditor, hiding info about meetings with a felon, becoming irrelevant on the international stage. Gensler admitting no fault, has become the insolent Colonel Jessup. Exactly. The same character who from A Few Good Men, who thought that because he was powerful and had a position of power in the government, that he was insulated and could not be dealt with for any illegalities. He ended up getting court-martialed, just so you know. That's the military version of being arrested. Then here's Stuart Alderoty. He is at this Ubri Connect 2023. Listen to this clip.
When you're faced with regulation by enforcement and regulatory overreach, fight. Defend yourself. Don't surrender. Which is what Ripple chose to do, which is what our CEO chose to do, what our chairman chose to do, who are named personally in a non-fraud case. There's never been a crypto case in the United States where individuals have been named along with the company with no allegation of fraud. They did it in our suit. Why did they do it? To try to bring us to our knees and surrender, and we didn't. So we fought them, and we won in a very important way. And I think that has given courage to other participants.
Yes, sir, it has. Now, here's another clip that Digital Perspective, he put out the whole clip. This one's good. Listen to this.
Matter that the US is crypto antagonist.
This guy's asking, why does it matter that the U.S. regulators are anti-crypto? The rest of the world's moving on.
If the rest of the world is getting on board?
I think that's a good question. And it's interesting. Let me start here. That after the SEC sued us, that's all we talked about is the SEC case. And I remember our chief executive was visiting Dubai, meeting with a regulator, and he started the conversation to talk about the SEC case. And afterwards, he got some feedback from our local managing director on the ground and said, you don't have to talk about the SEC case. They don't care about the SEC case. And then as I went to London and started Singapore, they were really not interested. So I think, so that would suggest that it doesn't matter, but the United States is still the largest economy in the world. It still has massive influence. It still is very fertile ground for entrepreneurs, engineers, people with bigger brains than me. So you would like to see the U.S. come along. And that's why I think at the end of the day, it does matter. The U.S. has to get it right.
All right. Then we've got this. Stephen Narioff put this out. My place. So he's talking about how, and it starts right here. He's talking about how these guys from Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, Joe Lubin, and all those guys have gone out of their way to downplay Stephen Narioff's role in the thing. This guy here, this is a tweet that's saying, never heard either. To be fair, I only really get involved after the token sale. It says reached out to Vitalik, and he stated he met him a few times, and that he helped us with legal stuff back in 2014. Seems like an exaggeration on the role, but maybe it was on CNBC's part. And then Stephen Narioff is showing the proof, his personal guarantee that he put up to prior cashmen back in the day. And I don't know if you remember this, when Joseph Lubin said that he had a note, he had something in his pocket. What he was referring to is the legal opinion letter that he got from prior cashmen as a result of this. Jeffrey Alberts was the attorney, apparently. So Stephen Narioff's pointing out, Vitalik slept on my freaking couch, and they're putting this lie out that he barely even knew. I just helped on a couple things back then. He barely even knew me, and he says Vitalik stayed with me when in New York, worked in an office I rented for Ethereum. Stephen's place doesn't sound like he's used to staying at my home, yet he says he only met me a few times. So this is Vitalik right here. This guy's putting out emails showing this stuff from Vitalik to Stephen Narioff, head to Manhattan Center, Stephen's place. So he's just pointing, and then he puts this out. The recording isn't directly related to the fraud, but it will illuminate a lot of what was really happening and show my involvement. The fraud will be in the lawsuit. 48-hour countdown. Ethereum Insider's shocking fraud expose looms. And this was 2 days ago. He was saying 48 hours. We're there, folks. It's imminent. Now check this out, because I'm in the private group today. I'm going to show you. I can prove it. I can prove it wasn't just the SEC. It wasn't just Homeland Security. It was also the CFTC. They all, and other parts of our government, they all know who Satoshi is. They all knew who Satoshi is, and I'm going to prove it in my group, DAIXRP.com. I'm going to use some of the proof we've had in the past, and I'm going to go further into it, and I'll show you. They all had to know. So listen to this. This is a theory that some of us have had for a long time, by the way, folks, and that is, remember, we already know that our government is not. I mean, look at Gary Gensler. It's not like these people are honest and above board. Okay, so if you're rogue regulators and you don't get what you want, wouldn't you then rig some? I mean, isn't that what executive orders are? Isn't this just over time how politicians and all these people have rigged it so that they can put in place whatever they want if they don't get the regulations they want? Well, what she's saying here is some type of emergency action that they could take, and I think that is OFAC, the Treasury. I think that's what she's referring to. Listen to this.
Way that we have groups looking at it and propose tools that are available. There are some powers that
when you start hearing them talk about tools, I think that means bending the Constitution.
DC, where I sit, has, but for something like this, which is, right now, particularly spot crypto, is not something that we can directly go in and intervene. There might be some limited circumstances where we have emergency powers, but that would need to be examined. We, as you know, are primarily very focused on the system of regulation around marketplaces, around exchanges and clearinghouses, and those market participants around commodity derivatives.
Folks, in the financial crisis, do you have any idea how many laws were broken by our government and all of the bankers and everybody involved in the bailouts? Many. And what you should have taken away from that, if you did not, is that under the blanket of an emergency, these people will do anything they want to do. And that's the fact, Jack. And I can remember talking to many of my friends who are bankers back during that, and they all thought, oh yeah, it had to be done. I said, no. What y'all don't understand is that Pandora's box was opened. And it goes back to what Rahm Emanuel said, who is one of Obama. He's one of that whole crew, Gensler, all of them. He said, never let a crisis go to waste. Well, I believe that these people see it a different way. Yeah, never let a crisis go to waste, but I think that they take it a step further. I think these people create a crisis, then never let it go to waste. Then do what you wanted to do because of the crisis you created. I believe that's part of what all this we have a cyber attack. We're in danger of a cyber attack. Well, yeah, almost like they want one. So then you got this, because I wanted to show you this. I was watching this morning, and the more I watched, the more I was like, what is going on? We know that these people all know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. What in the world is going on? This is all the government. Folks, I can't talk about much of this here. Go to DAIXRP.com today. We're going in there here in a second, but I want to show you a little bit of this first, okay?
Something has changed. So we had put in a number of times a filing, and we were just denied. Never got any questions, really never got any response. This time?
As you listen to this, listen to it with this in your head. The government knows and has known for years who Satoshi Nakamoto is. We have the proof. As she talks, that includes the SEC. We know they were in the room. I'm going to show you some other people that were in the room today in DAIXRP.com.
This summer, we got questions back from the SEC. Now, normally when you get questions from the SEC, you're just saying, oh my goodness. We were thrilled to get questions back because it means they're engaged now. Now, we have met a number of the research people at the SEC on the research side, and they are extremely sophisticated.
How is she able to, why is she able to go and just meet with them and have all these conversations? Ripple was never able to do that.
They know what.
Have you ever noticed that Kathy Wood never, she's one of them, never brings up Ripple or XRP? She won't even broach the subject. All right. We're going into the group now. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family as we go into DAIXRP.com. It is on like Donkey Kong. I'm going to show you a bunch of people who know